Hello everyone, this is POW Ponder on Weather. In this update, we're going to be talking about some extreme temperatures as well as flooding rains. So if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. So let's get right to it. This is your June 27th update, and man, we've got some excessive heat warnings to talk about in the Pacific Northwest, where some historic all-time highs are going to be falling later on today and tomorrow. So pretty much the entire state of Washington and Oregon and Idaho, even into portions of Montana, are going to see those record high temperatures. And along this trough here into Texas and portions of New Mexico, they've got flash flood watches happening right now, and that'll extend into Oklahoma and portions of Arkansas, getting into Missouri. And then we have some more heat advisories out here in the Northeast in portions of upstate New York into New Jersey, getting into Connecticut and Massachusetts as well, with some high temperatures well into the 90s. So if we take a look at the overall picture, and I kind of expanded the view, you can definitely see we got a lot of activity happening right now in the Texas Panhandle. That's going to be our stalled cold front, and it's not really going to go anywhere as this will continue to produce very heavy rains over portions of Texas Panhandle into Oklahoma, get into portions of Kansas and Missouri. We also have this little tropical wave down here in the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to be extending west-northwestward throughout the day today. That's going to be impacting portions of the Gulf Coast states into Louisiana. And we also have Hurricane Enrique out here in the Pacific down here spinning. And then we're also looking at our tropical waves down here into the Atlantic, as well as this little feature, the surface low that popped up yesterday. It's not expected to organize, but this will continue shifting off into the west. It's going to be impacting portions of Georgia as well as South Carolina as we go into the day on a Monday. So let's take a look at the overall picture. This is the North American view, and I really depicted the temperature anomalies because you can basically see the extreme dip in the jet stream. We've got this deepening ridge, this heat dome out here in the Pacific Northwest and portions of Canada. We're talking anomalies anywhere from 30 to 40 degrees above average. Portland, Oregon broke their all-time record high yesterday of 108 degrees. Today, they're going to easily top 112, possibly 115. I mean, Seattle's all-time high is 103. I mean, we're talking 108 today, possibly. I mean, historic all-time highs. We're talking temperatures, yeah, average highs like 76, guys. And a lot of these areas don't have, AC, only about 34%. So this is extreme weather we're talking about. But you get the flip side of it where that trough digs in and that stalled cold front, and we've got 20 degrees below average. So places like Santa Fe are going to be stuck in the 60s all day, getting into portions of Colorado, into Wyoming with those 20 degree below average temperature anomalies. And then portions of the Northeast, we've got the flip side of the coin again, and with those heat advisories taking place into much of the Northeast, with the temperatures well in the 90s, if not the upper 90s for them. But man, look at what's the big picture along this trough. This is the surface map for later on this afternoon. Yeah, we're going to be kicking up another round of showers and thunderstorms, and that's where the heaviest rains are going to be coming across into portions of the Texas Panhandle. There's Enrique down here in the Pacific, and there's our surface tropical wave that's going to be moving across and getting into impacting portions of Texas into Louisiana. And so where some of the heaviest rains are going to be falling is, right along where that trough is, when that stalled cold front is. The places into Mexico, into the Texas Panhandle, West Texas, into Oklahoma, into Missouri, especially into Illinois, that's going to be your heavier rains. And that tropical wave along the coastline, that's going to be starting to impacting Galveston, Houston, Beaumont areas, Lake Charles areas, with some heavier rains as this will continue shifting off further off into the west, northwest as we go throughout the day. So as we go into tomorrow, it just deepens even further. I think this is when we're going to have our most extreme temperature happening. So much of Canada, much of Oregon, much of Washington, getting into Idaho, well into the hundreds. If not, a lot of records are going to be fall easily. Breaking daily records, no problem. All-time records, no problem. So this is a very extreme temperatures is going to be happening. But then again, like I said, with that dip in the jet stream and where that trough digs in, man, we've got the flip side of the coin. And again, places like New Mexico and Colorado and to Texas Panhandle, get even into good portions of Oklahoma, it's going to be hard pressed to get 20 degrees below average temperatures. So that's definitely the flip side of the coin. And where all the clouds and the rain is going to be happening into Texas, yeah, you're going to be below average because your average temperatures are well into the 90s by then. And then, as we get into this time of year, the steering currents tend to be a little bit lighter. So once a gradient's over your area, it's not really going to move anytime soon. So that's why these movements are going to be slow to take over, over an extended period of time. But yeah, even in the portions of the Northeast are going to be seeing those higher temperatures as we go into the day on Monday. So there's your surface map for Monday and where the heavier rains are going to fall. I do feel like this cold front's going to be, again, stalled out to much of New Mexico, to Oklahoma, into Texas here. That's going to shift a little bit further south as well. That tropical wave, so that's going to be, compressing into Texas. So yeah, you're going to be seeing those heavier rains in the North Texas, probably getting into portions of Houston, into Austin, into San Antonio. That'll extend to bring more rains into Oklahoma, along the coast into Louisiana. But yeah, we'll extend even further into Illinois, into Ohio, into Indiana here, as this will continue impacting those areas. So that's where the heavier rains are going to be falling. What the Weather Prediction Center that's happening on Monday with your excessive rainfall. Yeah, so under the gun where the slight risk for excessive rain into portions of New Mexico, where that tropical wave is, again, along the coast into Houston. And then again, portions of Illinois could pick up some of those heavier rains. And there's that surface low that we talked about that was out here in the Atlantic. That will be pushing inward. Going to be seeing some heavier rains along the coastline that they are into Georgia as well as South Carolina. So as we go into the day on Tuesday, that's when it finally starts to weaken somewhat in the Pacific Northwest. It's not as extreme as you're going to be seeing Sunday and into Monday, but that'll shift just a tad bit further. So places like in Seattle and to Portland will finally start to somewhat cool down. You're still going to be almost 100 degrees, but you're not going to be seeing the 112, 115 degree heat. That'll, this will be shifting off further off into the east. So now, pushing further into Montana with some of those higher temperatures by the time we get into Monday. But man, where that trough is, I mean, look at the anomalies here. 25, almost 30 degrees below average temperatures. Those temperatures are well into the 60s for high temperatures this time of year, when a lot of the Texas Panhandle just the other day when I was up there actually was 105 degrees. So I mean, this is some extreme stuff where the jet stream dips and that really amplifies the temperatures and where that gradient takes place. But man, even to the Northeast on the day on Tuesday, that's where those high temperatures are still going to be impacting you guys. But on Tuesday, yeah, that cold front really doesn't go anywhere. It's just going to continue stalling. That tropical wave will push a little bit further inland. So I do feel much of Texas, especially in the daytime heating hours, we're going to be inundated with some scattered rain, some cooler temperatures, and that along that front into Oklahoma, into Missouri, into Illinois, into Indiana, get into portions of Wisconsin as well as Michigan here. Yeah, you're going to be seeing some of those heavier rains as we go through the day on Tuesday. But yeah, that's where the heavier rains are going to fall from the excessive rainfall outlook. Again, a lot of the areas into Mexico, well into Texas, where that cold front's going to be lying into Missouri and Illinois and Indiana. That's where we're going to be picking up a lot of the heavier rains on Tuesday. But as we go into Wednesday and as we end in June, yeah, basically been a recurring theme. Portions of the South have been below average, portions of the West, Northwest, and North have been above average, and that just continues. I mean, I think North Texas was actually going to be ending below average temperatures for the month of June as we close out here, but that trough, that ridge will continue to shift just a tad bit further off into the east. So now portions of the Dakotas are going to be starting to warm up. Minnesota is going to be starting to warm up, Getting into Wisconsin, you're going to be starting to warm up. As the deepening trough kind of elongates and spreads out, it won't be as extreme, but you're still going to be seeing those well below average temperature anomalies extending even further down southward, even into places like Phoenix. You might not even hit 100 degrees by the time we get to the day on Wednesday. And yeah, that's going to be below average for you guys, because most of your averages right now are probably, like about 103 degrees just for your daily average high. So 99 is going to feel really nice for you guys, at least for a day or two, as some of that cooler air will start impacting your area. So there's where the rain is going to be falling. We could be starting to push a little bit scattered activity into Arizona. Yeah, more rain for you guys in New Mexico. Start to dry out somewhat a little bit into Texas, but that heavier rains will shift further into the Ohio Valley, getting into the mid-Atlantic states. Again, where that rainy season is going to be happening in Florida, you're going to be seeing those daily afternoon pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Typically what you see this time of year as we get into the heat of the day. But there's your temperature anomalies on Tuesday. That ridge of high pressure just weakens even further, but it shifts off again further off into the east. So that will slowly propagate from west to east as we go throughout the week. And this trough down here starts to elongate and lose its luster a little bit. But we do have a cold front, another cold front that's going to be sagging southward into Kansas, into Missouri, portions of Kentucky, getting into Tennessee, into the Ohio Valley. And this will continue shifting further off to the south as we go into the day on Thursday. And right along that cold front, that's going to be seeing those showers and thunderstorms happening in portions of Oklahoma into Missouri, getting into Kentucky, into Tennessee, much of Virginia, West Virginia, getting into the mid-Atlantic states, where that cold front is going to be slowly sagging southward as we go through the day on Thursday. As we get into Friday, that trough, that ridge still amplifies over the Pacific Northwest, much of California, that will continue shifting off just a tad bit further off into the east. And you can almost depict where that cold front is going to be, where these lower temperature anomalies get into portions of Oklahoma and to the right along the Red River. It's probably going to be stalled out right along this boundary here into Arkansas, into Tennessee, getting into Virginia. Of course, it is July. It's going to be hard pressed to get a cold front to reach all the way down into the Gulf. But this is definitely some cooler temperatures as we go into the day on Friday. And right here, you can definitely see where that cold front is going to be stalling out. That's where your heavier rains and these darker greens depict the heavier rains where they're going to be lined up for the day on Friday. As we go into Saturday, again, the same areas are going to be seeing the heat. The dry weather are going to be still baking in the Pacific Northwest. Again, much of the north is going to be seeing those well above average temperature anomalies. Much of the south, below average temperatures. You can almost see the cold front's going to be stalling out right along the southeast here. So yeah, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, getting into North Carolina. Yeah, we're talking below average temperatures for your July 4th weekend. So yeah, it should be the opposite, right? I mean, it should be well above average in the south, well above average in the southeast, below average in the northwest. But that's not what we've been seeing. It's been completely the opposite as we continue to remain below average with those cloudier weather in portions of the south. As we go into the day on Saturday, that's where your rain's going to be. Yeah, you can almost see where that cold front's going to lie. It's probably going to stall out somewhere around North Texas, increasing the rain showers, so it could start to infect the fireworks displays that are going to be happening for much of the 3rd and the 4th for much of the country here. If you live into Texas and Louisiana and Alabama, Mississippi and Georgia, getting into the Carolina states, that could be seeing those rain showers as we go into the July 4th weekend. But that's where your totals are going to be between now and next Saturday. Yeah, you can expect under that ridge of high pressure where that heat dome is going to be happening into much of the West Coast here in the Pacific Northwest. Not a drop of rain is going to be falling under that. But as it kind of loses its luster a little bit and as it shifts further off into the east, yeah, we could start to see some pop-up activity. But the main weather is going to be right along this cold front into the Texas Panhandle, into Oklahoma. That's where you're going to be seeing some of the flooding rains happening, and that'll extend into portions of Missouri, getting into the Ohio Valley and much of the mid-Atlantic states. And again, where that tropical wave is going to be back down here into the Gulf of Mexico, extending into Houston, into portions of the southern Louisiana, that's where you're going to be seeing some of those heavier rains as well. So I appreciate you guys watching. I do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you for and